Pop Smoke. In February 2020, rising Brooklyn rapper Pop Smoke arrived at a Hollywood Hills mansion, unaware of the danger his location would attract. The quiet night was pierced only by the distant hum of Los Angeles traffic and the occasional bark of a guard dog. Inside, the mansion seemed calm, luxurious, but every corner hid potential danger in the darkness. Minutes later, masked intruders silently climbed the perimeter wall, creeping closer to the sleeping artist. At 4 a.m., the bedroom door crashed open, startling Pop Smoke from his light sleep. A gunshot rang through the room, bullets tearing into his torso as he staggered backward. He tried to reach the balcony, leaving a faint trail behind him as he struggled to breathe. The attackers fled as quickly as they came, leaving the mansion eerily silent again. Paramedics arrived minutes later to a chaotic scene, but every heartbeat counted against time. They carried him down the stairs, each step echoing the urgency of a life slipping away. In the hospital, doctors worked frantically, battling against severe internal injuries. Every attempt to stabilize him was met with failure as his body had suffered irreversible trauma. Family and friends were called to the hospital, unaware of the magnitude of what had occurred. Pop Smoke's pulse slowed, machines beeping erratically as time slipped away with cruel indifference. Despite the frantic efforts, the young artist could not be saved from the bullet that had torn his life apart. Pop Smoke was pronounced dead, leaving a permanent void in hip-hop and a mansion forever haunted by that night. Snootie Wild. In February 2022, Memphis rapper Snootie Wild found himself on a quiet roadside, unaware that a routine drive would turn deadly. A passing driver became enraged at the blocked path, escalating a minor dispute into a fatal confrontation. Words turned into threats, and threats quickly turned into action as a gun was raised in the cold air. A single bullet struck him in the neck, sending him collapsing to the muddy roadside instantly. He tried to lift himself, clutching at his throat as life drained away faster than anyone could intervene. The assailant fled into darkness, leaving the victim alone and helpless under the dim streetlights. Paramedics arrived swiftly, attempting to stabilize him, but each passing second worsened his condition. They loaded him into the ambulance, machines and monitors accompanying him as hope flickered. At the hospital, doctors raced against time, performing emergency procedures to save the young rapper. Despite every effort, the damage inflicted by the bullet was too severe to overcome. Family and friends were called to the hospital, unaware that he had already suffered a fatal injury. His pulse weakened, machines beeping erratically, each moment a grim reminder of mortality. Finally, the monitors flatlined, and Snootie Wild's life was tragically extinguished. The senseless roadside shooting left a void in Memphis hip-hop, mourning a life taken too soon. No intervention could prevent the tragedy that unfolded in mere minutes under dim streetlights. Snootie Wild was pronounced dead, another young talent lost to sudden, unthinkable violence. Chinx. In May 2015, Queens rapper Chinx, a member of Coke Boys, rode through the streets of Queens, New York, unaware that danger followed close behind. The calm night was deceptive, with the faint hum of traffic masking the approach of armed assailants. At a red light, Chinx's vehicle was approached by a dark sedan, seemingly normal but carrying deadly intent. Suddenly, gunfire erupted, bullets tearing through the side windows and striking the rapper in the torso. He tried to duck and shield himself, but the confined space offered no escape from the hail of bullets. The attackers fled immediately, leaving the vehicle silent except for the faint hiss of damaged tires. Neighbors called 911 as they watched the SUV sitting motionless, the driver barely conscious. Paramedics arrived within minutes, carefully extracting the injured rapper from the bullet-riddled vehicle. Inside the ambulance, they attempted to stabilize his breathing and control severe blood loss. Every effort to save him was met with resistance from the fatal damage inflicted in the shooting. At the hospital, the trauma team performed emergency procedures, racing against the clock. Despite their frantic efforts, the young rapper's body succumbed to the multiple gunshot wounds. Friends, family, and fans would later mourn the loss of a rising star taken far too soon. The shooting had lasted mere seconds, but the consequences would echo throughout New York hip-hop. Chinx's death reminded the community how quickly violence can turn a normal night into tragedy. He was pronounced dead at the hospital, leaving a permanent void in Queens and the broader rap scene. Bankroll Fresh. In March 2016, Atlanta rapper Bankroll Fresh was socializing outside a recording studio, unaware that a casual argument would escalate into fatal violence. The night was warm, streetlights casting long shadows across the pavement, while music and laughter filled the air. A heated dispute broke out between groups, voices raised and gestures wild, tension mounting with each passing second. Without warning, a gun appeared, and the playful night turned instantly deadly. Bankroll Fresh tried to flee, running across the cracked street with terror written on his simple round face. Bullets pierced the night air, striking him multiple times and sending him crashing to the ground. His friends screamed in panic, some trying to shield themselves, others frozen by fear. Chaos consumed the sidewalk as the shooters fled into the darkness, leaving devastation behind. Paramedics arrived moments later, kneeling over the wounded rapper as life hung by a thread. They loaded him into an ambulance, lights flashing red and blue, racing toward the hospital. Inside, medical teams fought to stabilize his breathing and control massive blood loss. Despite their relentless efforts, the internal damage from the bullets was too severe to overcome. Family and friends were called to the hospital, unaware of the tragic outcome awaiting them. His pulse slowed, the heart monitor beeping irregularly as precious minutes slipped away. Finally, Bankroll Fresh was pronounced dead, a rising star of Atlanta's rap scene extinguished too soon. The shooting left a permanent scar in the community, a reminder of how quickly a night of music can turn deadly. XXXTentacion. On June 18, 2018, rising SoundCloud rapper XXXTentacion visited a motorcycle dealership in Deerfield Beach, Florida, unaware of the ambush awaiting him. The afternoon sun cast long shadows through the showroom, calm and unsuspecting. Two masked men silently observed him from the corner, their intentions hidden behind hooded stick figure forms. As he exited the building, a dark SUV blocked his path, and the confrontation escalated instantly. The attackers jumped out, guns raised, demanding everything he had. A struggle ensued, desperate and brief, as the young rapper resisted the robbery attempt. One of the attackers fired, a single bullet striking him in the neck, stopping him in his tracks. He slumped into his BMW i8, clutching at his throat as the attackers grabbed the cash and fled. Witnesses froze, horror written across their stick figure faces, unsure whether to help or flee. Paramedics arrived within minutes, kneeling beside the rapper as his pulse grew faint. They rushed him to Broward Health North Hospital, lights flashing, each second critical. Doctors worked frantically in the emergency room, attempting to reverse massive blood loss. Despite their relentless efforts, his injuries were too severe, the damage irreversible. Family and friends arrived, their stick figure forms trembling, unaware he would not survive. At 5:30 p.m., XXXTentacion was pronounced dead, his life cut short by senseless violence. The tragic incident sent shockwaves through the music community, a reminder of how fleeting fame can be when danger lurks. Juice WRLD. On December 8, 2019, Chicago rapper Juice WRLD boarded a private jet after a concert in Chicago, unaware that his life was about to take a tragic turn. He appeared relaxed, chatting with friends and enjoying the high of performing to thousands of fans. Moments later, he swallowed pills intended to calm his anxiety, not knowing they contained deadly opioids. The combination of substances began to slow his breathing, invisible but deadly. Friends noticed he was unresponsive, panic spreading through the cramped cabin. He began turning blue, his heartbeat faltering, while the plane continued taxiing on the tarmac. Paramedics were called immediately, rushing onto the jet with equipment and urgency. They worked frantically to revive him, using Narcan and CPR in desperate attempts to stabilize his condition. Each second stretched unbearably as the young rapper struggled silently against the effects of the drugs. Despite repeated efforts, his breathing grew shallower and his pulse weaker, slipping away unnoticed at first. He was rushed to a nearby hospital, the staff immediately taking over the fight to save him. Inside the emergency room, medical teams worked tirelessly, but the overdose had already inflicted fatal damage. Family and friends were called, their stick figure forms trembling, unaware he would not survive. His pulse flatlined, monitors silent, and the room fell into a tense, tragic stillness. Juice WRLD was pronounced dead at the age of 21. His life cut short by accidental ingestion of powerful drugs. The music world mourned a bright, promising talent lost too soon, a warning of the dangers hidden behind fame and success.